This has huge implications on the Montreal Canadiens' future, as in his press conference after the trade deadline, Kent Hughes revealed 2 players that could very well play for Laval down the stretch, as Laval is now the first seed in the AHL. We have to talk about that, plus a note on some college updates, as Michael Hage's season has likely come to an end, being over a point per game as an 18-year-old, and Jacob Fowler getting a shutout, putting up historic goalie numbers. We have a bunch of stuff we have to talk about coming up on this episode of Habs Digest. The future is insanely bright. If you're excited for the future, leave a like on the video, because we might see a couple of these guys sooner than you think. We got to start, though, Jesse, with Michael Hage. Now, there's no guarantee we'll see him soon. He's not one of these guys that seemingly will come to Laval at the end of the season. By all accounts, it seems like he will stay at Michigan for another year. Now, their season's likely over. Technically, I believe they could be invited to some tournament games, but it sure seems like the season's done. But look, the second half wasn't as good as the first half for Michael Hage as they start playing more in-conference opponents, tougher opponents, still finishing with 34 points, 13 goals in 33 games. For an 18-year-old, Jesse, that is unbelievable. Exceeded pretty much everyone's expectations. There's a genuine argument for him being the best freshman this year. I don't know what we expect out of Michael Hage, but I don't think it was this good. I'm just so happy to see how his season came to a close.
We have to say that Michael Hage is even better than expected. Again, our draft team just doing a phenomenal job of finding the right players. There's gems in these drafts, but it's like, who fits the Montreal Canadiens? Michael Hage absolutely does. And I think it's worth, again, reiterating, 34 points in 33 games as a freshman in the NCAA is absolutely incredible. How has he been able to get these points? Quick decision-making in the offensive zone. He gets rid of the puck really quickly. Obviously, really great on the power play, which we're loving here, the chances, what he can do for the Montreal Canadiens there. And again, what I'm liking about him, even in this final game, Josh, it's like they lost, but it's not for lack of him trying things. Like, he's kind of like Demidov, where he doesn't mind getting creative in the offensive zone. He's kind of always the catalyst. He's always kind of behind engineering everything to kind of really get that engine cooking. He's trying toe drags. He's shooting from different angles. So really liking that creativity like Demidov, a potential, teammate of his in the future, how they both kind of have that in their tools, basically in their tool pouch.
Yeah, I like that as well, right? That's one of the things that really, I think, can elevate your game at the next level. And another reason why I think he should stay in college, because you can see these flashes of brilliance of being the most creative guy on the ice at times. Not always, sometimes, but again, these little moves that he makes, he can make defenders look foolish. I mean, again, this move is against the number 4 team in Minnesota when he pulled this off, right? Like, he's capable of these crazy little things, and just being able to play against other opponents again, letting his own body grow. Again, he's only 18. He's only going to get bigger at this point. The other top center on Michigan's 23-year-old TJ Hughes. Like, don't forget, a lot of these guys in college, a lot of the best players he's playing against are 20, 21 years old. And he's 18 and managed to do this. So just wanted to highlight him. He's been unbelievable. Leave some love for our boy Michael Hage, the guy who was born to be a Montreal Canadian, down below. But there is another guy in college we got to talk about. And it's the other guy at the end of this clip. We'll roll Hage just one more time, but we got to show that Boston Eagle, Jacob Fowler. There's the goal, and take a look at him. This celebration after another shutout, Jesse. This is, I don't mean to tease what we're going to talk about in a minute, but we might see Jacob Fowler quite soon. Now, there is a decision, like he said, he loves being there at Boston College, playing with the team. There's a good chance they could go win the national championship. If they do, who knows? Maybe he'll return for a third season, but anyway, we might see him in Laval this year. We'll talk about that a bit later, but just talking on his season, Jesse, this dude has a legit case for the Hobie Baker. And I mean, like, a legit case. 1.62 GAA, a 941 save percentage, in arguably the best conference in college hockey and Hockey East. For Boston College, again, played 7 fewer games this year than last year. The record was similar. The stats pop off the page, unbelievable. 6 shutouts. Jacob Fowler is the best goalie in college hockey. Look, you can take your other arguments for other teams. I don't think any Habs fans are going to argue with me. This dude, you can make a case for him being the best goalie prospect in the world. I know there's Askarov, but his season has been insane, Jesse. Imagine he adds a Hobie Baker to his repertoire, and even if he doesn't come to Laval this year, imagine next year, right? We can't talk about it now, but my gosh, what a season he had.
Oh boy, this guy's pro ready here. But, for the NCAA right now, it's like, if he does win the Hobie Baker, he's going from, again, a good season last year, 2.14 to that 1.62. Like, this guy is getting better year in, year out right now. Again, he wants to go for it when it matters. So, I mean, keep our eyes on this guy to really finish out the season here. But what I'm loving, Josh, is as we're kind of debating, is he going to go pro, which I really think that he deserves to, that he's ready for at this level. we're bringing together some guys that really want to win. I think Lane Hudson and like Jacob Fowler, like I know they've competed against each other in the past. They're going to get along really well. Ivan Demidov strikes me again as a pretty cool, kind of calm, collected guy, but really wants to win. Like the fact that we've kind of been able to kind of group together these type of guys that this is really what they care about. Again, he getting another shutout, his 7th of the year. He's just being absolutely dominant here to finish off the season. So going to be an absolute blast, not only to cover off the season, but him going forward. Please stay tuned, folks.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, hey, we'll see how the rest of the season goes in terms of the tournament, Frozen 4, all that stuff. Jacob Fowler will be in there. He's going to go for it again. Honestly, this guy is something special. But hey, we got to talk about the future of the Montreal Canadiens as we're doing right now. But the future of the Montreal Canadiens, Jesse, especially some of the depth guys, certainly seem to be in Laval right now. As Laval, we got to give you a little update. This is Coach Frenchie on Twitter. We show Coach Frenchie all the time. Does some great prospect updates if you're interested in that. But just looking at the last game, Laval, by the way, Jesse, Rochester was number 1 in the AHL. We've been talking about this for a while. Laval had back-to-back games against them. Rochester, I think, had only lost 1 game, maybe 2 games this season, going into the third with a lead. And Laval beat them back-to-back times by coming back in the third to win. In this last game, Joshua Waugh scored his 20th. Even Kidney got his third. Arsenault, RHP, Xhekaj, Condada, Cayden, Primeau's been amazing. Laval is the number 1 seed, Jesse, by a decent margin. They're 2 points over Hershey, but they have 2 more wins than Hershey, as Hershey's tacking on those OT losses. A 700 points percentage for Laval right now is absolutely insane. And when we're talking about the team going forward, now Reinbacher's not playing in every single game, part of his return to play protocol. He did miss 1 or 2 so far. He is ready to go for the playoffs. We know Cayden Primeau has been locked in, but Kent Hughes also revealed. He said, look, he couldn't talk about Jacob Fowler's arrival since Fowler's still in school. There's been some rumblings about him coming over. We're not sure this year or next year. We'll have to wait and see. But Oliver Kapanen will probably join Laval for the playoffs after his season in Europe is done, as Kent Hughes said, Jesse. As we look at Laval, we look at this team going forward, not only is this the best team in the AHL, while being a top 5 youngest team, part of the reason we didn't go after guys at the deadline is because we know a guy like Kapanen's coming over. We have such a great opportunity to establish that winning culture again, to see these guys make an impact at the highest level besides the NHL. I'm super excited to follow these guys down the stretch.
Again, Kent Hughes, think of that long-term vision again, playing that chess, right? Where he didn't want to bring in some kind of like AHL veteran guys, even though that could maybe kind of help, them in the kind of the short run. He wanted our young guys to really get that work. And again, knowing that Kapanen's going to be there, he wants to get those reps and really those meaningful games again, having the vision of the long term, but also thinking like they can kind of get the job done right now, because this team, much like the Montreal Canadiens in a lot of ways, is heating up at the right time. Florian Xhekaj, that's right, Florian, our boy the unicorn, 13 points in his last 14 games. David Reinbacher looking phenomenal too in that come behind game, against Rochester there. Like, he's not getting points, but we brought him on to be that defensive guy as well, to kind of pick his spots to come offensively. But again, like, he's showing a lot of confidence there, Josh, and that's getting me excited, because this guy with this mobility, and then he's not down himself, he's making quick plays, he's big, like, this is just a recipe for success. Reinbacher's a sleeper pick. He's going to end up being a lot better than we think, and he's going to get a real big chance to show this down the stretch.
Absolutely, and with Laval right now, the number 1 seed, with Montreal just outside of a playoff spot, there's going to be a lot of intense playoff hockey. Again, Fowler going to go into this tournament in the NCAA. I also wanted to shout out Sean Farrell down in the AHL right now. His start to his season was bad. It was like 2 points in like 19. It was something really bad. He was not scoring at all, but the second half of the season, he's been working with Pascal Vincent. He's been over a point per game player for like 13 or 15 games or something now. He's been unbelievable. He had a stretch where it was like 10 points in 5 games or something. So we're getting the most out of the guys that we have down there. Even guys that we maybe sort of gave up on to some extent are having resurgences. A guy like Florian Xhekaj outperforming. Like, everything is going right for Laval right now. And hey, who knows if that means teams will try to poach Pascal Vincent, but we might talk about that in the future. But right now, things look great. They look rosy, peachy. Hage, Fowler, everyone on Laval, Demidov coming over soon. A bunch of great stuff coming. I hope you guys stick around with us. That'll do it for this episode of Habs Digest. Don't forget, tomorrow, Monday, we got the live stream, 6:15 p.m. Eastern. Don't forget, daylight savings time is over. I'm sure you've all adjusted the clocks, even though most clocks are automatically adjusted these days. But thank you so much for watching and supporting. Leave a like, comment, subscribe to the channel. We will see you guys tomorrow night. I'm Josh Gosse, my co-host, Jesse Poirier. We'll catch you in the next one.